When it comes to celebrating Halloween, there is no better way to get in the spirit than by visiting a haunted house, or maybe not. If you're easily scared, stick to the costume parties and candy corn this holiday season. But for those thrill seekers who want their spooky season to last all year long, here are 5 of the creepiest haunted houses that you must visit this Halloween. No. 5. The Whaley House, San Diego, California. The Whaley House Museum is widely regarded as one of America's most haunted places. It was built in 1857 by Thomas Whaley, a successful businessman and former mayor of San Diego. But he didn't realize it until later that he had made a terrible mistake. He had built his dream home right on top of a Native American burial ground. As you might have guessed, the spirits of the dead weren't too happy about this, and they began making regular appearances to let him know it. Over the years, visitors and staff have reported seeing ghosts, hearing unexplained sounds, and even feeling ghostly touches. One of the most famous residents is Thomas's son, John. He died at the age of 23 after falling from a horse, and his ghost is said to haunt the house, especially around the 3rd floor. Another regular sighting is that of a woman in a Victorian nightgown, who is believed to be the ghost of Mrs. Whaley. She died in 1881. From complications following an abortion. And she is said to haunt the house looking for her lost child. Visitors have reported seeing strange lights and shadows around the house, and some have even experienced unexplained changes in their behavior while inside. For example, some people report becoming suddenly sad or depressed, while others report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread or anxiety. Number 4. The Stanley Hotel, Estes Park, Colorado. If you want to feel like you've stepped into a Stephen King novel, then the Stanley Hotel is the place for you. Located in the Rocky Mountains, the Stanley Hotel is a grand old building with a rich history. It was built in 1909 by Freeland Oscar Stanley, one of the co-founders of the Stanley Steamer Company. The hotel quickly became a popular destination for the wealthy elite. But its popularity waned in the mid-20th century as people started to prefer newer, more modern hotels. That was when Stephen King decided to pay a visit. He was immediately captivated by the hotel's dark and brooding atmosphere, and he soon checked in for a night stay. But halfway through the evening, he realized that he needed to finish some work on his latest novel. So he stayed up late in his room writing away. As the night wore on, he started to feel a growing sense of unease. He could hear footsteps pacing back and forth in the hallway outside his door, even though he knew that he was the only guest still awake. Suddenly, the door to his room creaked open, and he turned to see a ghostly figure standing in the doorway. The apparition was that of an elderly woman dressed in a long white nightgown. She stared at him for a moment before turning and slowly walking down the hallway. Of course! He was terrified, but his fears soon turned to fascination. He spent the rest of the night writing furiously, and by the time the sun came up, he had finished his latest novel, The Shining. From that day forward, the Stanley Hotel became known as one of the most haunted places in America. And many people believe that Stephen King's story helped to solidify its reputation. So if you're a fan of the author or just looking for a good scare, be sure to visit the Stanley Hotel this Halloween. No. 3. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. This place needs no introduction. The very mention of Waverly Hills Sanatorium sends chills down the spines of even the most intrepid thrill seekers. Located in Louisville, Kentucky, Waverly Hills was once a state-of-the-art facility for treating tuberculosis patients. But as the years went on, it became overcrowded and understaffed. The conditions quickly deteriorated, and the death rate soared. In fact, it's estimated that over 60,000 people died at Waverly Hills, which makes it one of the deadliest places in American history. When the sanatorium closed in the 1960s, it was abandoned and left to rot. And that's when the ghost stories really started to come out. People began reporting seeing apparitions, hearing disembodied voices, and feeling cold spots throughout the building. Some even claimed that they had been touched by ghostly hands. Of course, these stories only added to the mystique of Waverly Hills, and today it is considered one of the most haunted places in America. In fact, it's so infamous that there are several organizations that offer ghost tours of the grounds. Number 2, Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Gettysburg is a small town in south-central Pennsylvania that is best known for the battle that took place there during the American Civil War. But what many people do not realize is that Gettysburg is also one of the most haunted places in America. During the 3 days of fighting, an estimated 51,000 soldiers were killed or wounded, and their bodies are said to still be buried on or around Little Round Top. Visitors to the site have reported seeing apparitions, hearing gunshots, and feeling a general sense of unease. One of the most famous ghosts is that of a young woman named Lizzie Baker. She was only 19 years old when she died of a gunshot wound to the head, and her body was thrown into a well. Her ghost is said to appear on the anniversary of her death every year, walking along the streets of Gettysburg. Other visitors have reported seeing the ghost of a Union soldier who died at the Battle of Little Round Top. His name was Jacob Cantor, and he was shot while charging Confederate forces. Today, Gettysburg is home to several ghost tours that allow visitors to explore the town's haunted past. 1. Salem, Massachusetts. Salem is a historic city located in the northeastern part of Massachusetts. It's most famous for the Salem witch trials that took place there in the late 17th century. More than 200 people were accused of practicing witchcraft, and 20 of them were executed. But Salem's dark history doesn't end there. Today, it's considered one of the most haunted places in America. Visitors and locals alike have reported seeing ghosts, hearing unexplained noises, and experiencing other paranormal phenomena. One of the most famous haunted spots is the Salem Witch Museum, where the trials took place. Some say that the building is haunted by the spirits of the accused witches, while others believe that it's simply a repository of their energy. Either way, visitors have reported feeling an overwhelming sense of dread while inside the museum. Another popular destination for ghost hunters is the Old Burying Point, Salem's oldest cemetery. It's the final resting place of many of the accused witches, as well as other prominent figures from Salem's early history. Some say that the cemetery is haunted by restless spirits, while others believe that it is simply a place where the veil between the living and the dead is at its thinnest. No matter what you believe, one thing is certain. The Old Burying Point is a must-visit destination for anyone interested in Salem's haunted history. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on these haunted houses? Would you dare visit them this Halloween? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this. We'll catch you next time.